Starting to feel like I should have unloaded all this pipe at the shop instead of here, because it seems like I'm running it all back up there to do some prefab on it before I put it in here where it's going to go permanently. My main goal for today is to notch the pipe that's going to be welded up in this span between the man gate and the existing fence. And I thought, well, while I'm bringing pipe home, I may as well bring enough home to make the gate that's going to go in this gate frame. And while it does feel like a lot of unnecessary work hauling pipe back and forth, I guess I decided that it's easier to do that than it would be to load up the air compressor and the plasma cutter and all of those things and bring all that out here. Got a lot to do today, so we better get to it. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. A few weeks back, you guys might remember I was having some problems with the plasma cutter. The bowl on the water separator cracked and it was leaking air so bad that the air compressor could not keep up with it, and it basically rendered this thing useless. I searched for the correct parts to fix it and couldn't find them, so I JB welded the old bowl back together. This worked good enough to get it functional, but it still wasn't quite right. Until one of you sent me the proper link to the proper part. I finally got that and it's installed now and everything seems to be working as it should. So thank you, Michael. I'm not sure how you found it because I sure couldn't. So the plan here is to get 5 of these pipes notched on one end and then not do anything on the other end yet. I'll load them back up on the trailer. We can grab the chop saw and the generator and go back down there and get the proper measurements, get the right angle, and get these cut and hopefully welded up today. Got all the pipe notched. Glad to have this job done. This is the kind of thing that gets awful monotonous, just repetitive, same thing over and over, but you got to do it. Still got to load a few things up before we head back over to the corral, and there's a couple more little pieces that I want to make as well. I need 4 pieces of this angle iron, all pretty much the same size. So we'll start by cutting this one in half and then cut those pieces in half, whatever they end up being. These two pieces are the lower brackets that will eventually mount the removable panel to the two gate frames over there. The unchanged angle iron here will be the upper brackets. See if that works. I don't know why it wouldn't. Well, shoot, we're all loaded up, ready to go. And I just keep trying to tell myself to go do it, but the truth of it is, I think it's just a little bit too breezy today. And worst of all, this is a south breeze, so where I would be doing the welding, the wind would be blowing any potential sparks right towards the barn, and I just don't feel comfortable doing that today. Plus, it's hot, it's late in the day, which means it's dry. Everything's just kind of pointing to, we need to do this another day. Oh, that peach looks awesome. For some reason this year, the peaches on our peach tree just look amazing. Last year, I didn't really do anything differently, and we had a lot of small peaches, and this year we've got fewer peaches, but what we do have are all about baseball sized or larger. And we will definitely eat, I want to say most of these, but as you can see, some of them end up falling on the ground, and I like to give these to the pigs because they absolutely love them. I've had people in the past tell me that peaches are poisonous for pigs, or I think maybe they're talking about the pits, but I've been feeding drop peaches like this to pigs for several years and I've never had any problems. And I wish that you guys could smell this tree. It just smells amazing. If you like peaches. Looked like a chicken got into that one. That looks like a pretty good haul right there. They're gonna like that. Inevitably, there's going to end up being peaches on the ground that I don't pick up or just miss altogether. And I found that the best way to clean up our little fruit orchard here is to not come out here with a rake or a mower and try to clean it up myself. The best way to clean it up is to put a poultry net around it and put all of our layer hens out here. They will get the orchard floor cleaned up better than I ever could. Got a little treat for you guys. You ready? There's a bunch for you. You know, I think that's my favorite thing about having hogs on the place here is that no food goes to waste. Whether it's peaches, whether it's scraps out of our kitchen, whether it's rotten milk, these guys eat everything. The other day I was going to load this bag of concrete up to take it down to the working corral, and I was going to use it around the little stabilizer post that I put in a couple videos ago. And this bag of concrete's been sitting on the floor of the shop in here for several years. I'm not actually sure how many, but it was pretty hard. And a lot of times when that happens, if you drop the bag on one side, flip it over, drop it on the other side, maybe kick it a couple times. It'll break up to where you can use it again. But this one was extra stubborn and it was not wanting to break. So I kept flipping it and dropping it and flipping it and dropping it. Well, you can see what happened. The bag ended up splitting open. And I do think that the concrete here is still usable, but I'm not going to be able to get it over there in this bag. So I figure if I can scoop it up, put it in this bucket, we can get it over there, and at least get some use out of it. Wouldn't you just know, the only shovel I got right here is this guy, which I guess will work. Ugh, this is going to be heavy. And I'm sure somebody out there right now wants to tell me that you need to turn concrete every month or so to keep the bags from setting up when you're storing it. It's not that I don't know that, I just didn't do it. Okay, you two. Get in. Well, I certainly had aspirations of getting a lot more done on this project today, but we got something done, and that ain't nothing. And now the update that no one asked for, and that is about the chickens here. Still got 17 in the freezer, 19 in the chicken house here. So there's really not much of an update, except for the fact that I did finally break down and order a proper scalder. And I'm not sure when it's gonna be here, but I am holding off on butchering the rest of these until the scalder shows up. I was talking to my friend Carson over at the Rip Ranch the other day, and we got on the topic of, you know, complaining about how the right equipment is expensive, so you don't want to buy it. But then when you're doing the job that that equipment is for, you complain that you don't have the right equipment. In light of that conversation, I decided that I need to buy myself a chicken scalder. It's going to make harvesting the chickens go a lot smoother and a lot faster for me. And, you know, I've reached a point in life where I just don't ever see not doing this, just because once you get used to having that farm fresh supply of meat, it's really hard to imagine ever going back to buying it at the store. So if this is something that I'm gonna be doing for the foreseeable future, it makes sense to buy the equipment now. Because not only will I just get that much more use out of it, but the longer I wait to buy it, the more expensive it's gonna be. If I'm keeping things on schedule, the cattle should graze out here for another day, but walking around and looking at things, this grass is pretty short, and I think we'll go ahead and move them today. Waiting for me? Who's been waiting? Good girls. Good girls. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.